What's up, YouTube? Fat20 Gaming coming at you today with a Himiko Wiseman Premium Genesis deck profile. I want to start off by apologizing for the scarcity of my content. My life's been a little hectic, a lot of work, and I've had some minor health issues going on, so and a little bit of a health scare. So there was that. Not that matters to any, or I shouldn't say that. Not that really concerns any of you guys. I do apologize for not uploading as frequently, even though I did promise a while back that I would try to upload more consistently. I also want to say thank you so much for reaching the 100 sub milestone. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned into my content, as scarce as it has been recently. And I'm going to be doing a 100 sub Q&A soon-ish, once I get my lazy ass motivated to actually film the video. I might even have my girlfriend in it, just because, why not? She likes to be involved into these things. So, that's enough rambling from me. Without further ado, let's get into the deck profile here. So, as you can see, we're starting off with the grade 3s. We have 4 copies of Oracle Queen Himiko from the V Extra Booster 04. She is here for the main combo kill with Angelic Wiseman. Also, the force marker is really, really useful. Now, you guys are seeing that this is there's no Fenrir, there's no grade 3 Fenrir at all in this deck build. It's purely Himiko and Wiseman. And the reason I'm doing that is because I feel like the Himiko Wiseman loop, or Himiko Wiseman combo, is significantly more powerful than the and easier to set up than just the traditional Fenrir Wiseman loop. Yeah, you don't hit as big of numbers, but who cares when you're dealing 4 damage a hit? You know, basically it's a touch of death combo. So, you know, all you give a shit is about killing your opponent. And the best part is, you don't necessarily have to worry about things like Hanoli, because it can get under that 5 attack limit if need be. So run 4 of her. So for those of you who don't know what she does, she's grade 3 with a Force Gift. An axe skill, once per turn, Soul Blast 5, and put either a crit or a draw trigger from your soul onto the bottom of your deck, and then you activate that trigger effect for each grade of your opponent's Vanguard. So that's really, so basically, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, you Soul Blast 5 bot deck a crit, you're getting to activate 3 crit triggers for that turn. So that's really important, especially, and then the force marker on top of it. Generally, you're going to have a 50k Wiseman before he uses his skill, which is going to bump him up to 54k. And speaking of Wiseman, he is the other grade 3 that we run. So he's an old as shit grade 3, all the way back from original booster set 14. 10k grade 3. And he has auto skill on Vanguard and Rearguard, Soul Blast 3 when he attacks. If you have a Genesis Vanguard, you can pay the cost, and if you do, he gets 4,000 until the end of the battle. While that was not great by any means whatsoever, and in fact is quite a mediocre skill for the cost, the support that Genesis got during G era, specifically during Absolute Judgment, when they got their busted ass stand trigger that is Taro, allows him to basically multi-attack during the battle phase, because you can Soul Blast during the battle phase. So that's it for the grade 3 lineup. Like I said, it's a pure Himiko Wiseman build. So next up with the grade 2s, I am running 4 copies of V-Era Battle Maiden Saohime. As I had mentioned, if you guys had seen my original Fenrir deck profile, she is basically... she's the card that you use to get your pieces into Soul. Like, if you have a Taro in your hand, you want to get it into Soul, you use her. And she's pseudo-card... she's not pseudo-card advantage. She is card advantage. She technically replaces herself because it's draw 2 and then put 1 into Soul. And a lot of the times with this deck, you're generally using her skill, like, as early as grade 2. But also, the deck doesn't really use that much Counterblast, so, like, you're free to mess around with stuff like this. And she can also help trigger the effect of our next grade 2, which is 4 copies of Witch of Grape Scrappa. The witches, again, are older cards that were from Booster Set 14, the same set that Wiseman came from. There's a Grade 2 and a Grade 1 version. We run both, and they both have the exact same effect of when this card's put into drop zone from your soul, aka when you Soul Blast it, you may Soul Charge 2. That's important because not only can that help us build soul because it is a net 1-2 soul, it can also allow us to extend our Wiseman combos if need be. Depending on how your soul is set up, you can actually Soul Blast these when you attack with a Wiseman in order to Soul Charge more, like, say, you have Taros still left in your deck, or even if you're just trying to dig for pieces, you can do that as well. And then our last Grade 2, which is a card I'm sure none of y'all saw coming, 4 copies of Unappeasable Biter Gleipnir. So, Unappeasable Biter Gleipnir is the Amber clone for Genesis. And what it says is when attacks a Vanguard, if it's boosted, you may pay the cost. Generation Break 1 skill. The cost is Counterblast 1. If you do, Soul Charge 3, and then if your card was put into the drop zone from your soul during this turn, draw a card. So not only does this help to build up soul, it also allows you to gain card advantage and like dig for pieces like Wiseman and stuff. Because outside of Himiko and Saohime, the deck really doesn't have like a lot of heavy draw advantage. And because we're not running Fenrir, we don't have the way to get like Wisemans from Soul and stuff like that. So that is so this is one of the key pieces, and plus it can also help you dig like during your Wiseman combo turns. It can help you dig for more pieces, like if you're a Taro short or something like that. And it can even allow you to extend the combo even more, because you can be like, oh, I had 4 Taros in Soul that I all Soul Blasted, now they're on the bottom of my deck. Alright, cool. Swing with this, Soul Charge 3 Taros. So now we can generate even more attacks. One other interesting thing to note about this card, this is not a once per turn restriction, unlike most of the other Amber clones. So if you, by some ungodly means, are able to restand this column, you can do the effect again. You can Soul Charge another 3, draw another card. And like I said, the deck is not very heavy on Soul Blast, or Counterblast. So that is a non-issue if you want to go big on that. So now moving on to the Grade 1s. We have Witch of Orange Valencia. This is the Grade 1 version of the Grade 2 Witch of Great Scrappa. That is, when it's Soul Blasted, you can Soul Charge 2. She and Grappa are obviously your primary ride targets. Being able to accelerate your soul building is very important in this deck. And that's another reason why we run Saohime, is because like you ride this, then you ride to Grade 2, call Saohime, Soul Blast this out, and then, oh hey look, I Soul Charge 2. So that's really useful. Next up, we run 4 copies of V-Era Battle Maiden Mihikari Hime. The original Mihikari Hime was just an AK vanilla, but this one, when it's placed, you reduce the amount that you Soul Blast the next time you Soul Blast by 3. So this is important for a couple of things. It's important because it can make our Saohimes free, essentially soul-wise. And on top of that, it can also reduce the cost of our Himikos, because we want to conserve as much soul as possible for the Wiseman combo. So being able to reduce Himiko from 5 Soul Blast to 2 is really, really good. And obviously being able to just drop Saohime turn 2, you just go call this, call Saohime, get your +1 for Counterblast 1. And also, like, if early enough, depending on how your soul charges go, like, if you set up with, like, Saohime or something like that, like, you can just get, like, a free Himiko when you ride to Grade 3. So, alright. Next up, we have 3 copies of V-Era Witch of Cats Kumin. This is in here because it really helps to fetch necessary pieces, like, say something, you had to guard with something, or that you wanted in your soul. This can help fetch that out. It can help you set up your Wiseman combos. And like I said, the deck really doesn't use that much Counterblast, so you're free to use it if you want. And on top of that, like, it's just even if you're just bouncing, like, you're on places, like, you could, like, say you need Mihikari Hime. You call Mihikari Hime, call this, bounce her back, now your Himiko is actually free, or some of your strides are actually free. So that's really helpful. And then, of course, last but not least, we run 3 Stride Fodder, because You do want to be able to consistently stride with the deck until you can build up your combo. That's kind of just a no-brainer. It's premium. Striding is super powerful. And plus, your first stride is generally your main setup stride. And if you can't stride, and build and set up your combo, you're probably going to lose. And now, last but not least, we have our triggers. So I'm going with an all-in trigger lineup. I go 4 heal, 4 crit. I run 2 of each to, kind of mind game the opponent, thinking that, maybe he's running 8 crit because I see 2 different artworks. 4 Taro, the main combo maker of your deck. For those of you who don't know what she does, she's a stand trigger, so she only has 10k shield and only gives 5k power. But she has an ability that's Generation Break 1 that says when she is put into your drop zone from your soul, you can put her on the bottom of the deck to stand a rear guard. That can be done at any point in the turn. You Soul Blast during the battle phase, you can tuck her to restand something that was attacking, or that was just rested. Excuse me. She has Revelation on Rearguard Circle, but that's irrelevant because if you're calling her, you're in a very, very bad spot. So that's kind of that basically is just blank text. And then we run 4 draw PGs. Again, the deck does not have a lot of card advantage, so draws are really necessary to find your Wisemans and stuff like that. Now you might be wondering, where's your starter? Well, my starter is right here. It's a crit trigger. I go super ballsy and start off with a crit trigger as my starter because I have found with testing the deck, you have problems getting that crit in your soul. It is very difficult to give up a crit from your hand for the shield value with stuff like Saohime. So using her as the starter not only allows me to run more options in the deck, it just guarantees me to have that crit and soul for when I want to go off with Himiko. And sometimes the deck can run very aggressive in the early game, and sometimes having that, by the time I ride Himiko, I can just finish off my opponent by just going, alright, cool, bot deck, 2 crit triggers to the front swing, and then my opponent just goes, oh, well, I guess I lose. So, that's that for the main deck. Onto our G-Zone. Our first card that we start off with is Beastslayer Military Deity Tier. This is your main setup stride. This is generally your first stride that you go into. For those of you who don't know what he does, he's Axe Skill. Once per turn, Soul Blast 3. Look at the top card of your deck, and either put it on the top or your bottom of your deck, and then until end of turn, he gets, when his drive check reveals a grade 1 or greater unit, you may Soul Charge 3. So this helps build up your soul to get to your Wiseman combos and stuff like that. And also being able to see, like, oh, am I going to drive check a Wiseman or something like that off the top of your deck is really useful. And like I said, he's your main setup stride. I only run 1 right now, but I am thinking about bumping him up to 2 just because he is really, really strong. He's really, really good for setting up, and you do have those unfortunate turns where you just go, alright, Tier, hey look, I hit all triggers, which technically is good, but with Tier is bad because now you don't have any way to set up your soul. And also, Mihikari Hime is great with him being able to use his effect for free. So, then next up we have 1 copy of Mythical Hellsky Beast Fenrir. This dude is basically your emergency button. If you're getting hammered, and I mean hammered, this guy is just like, cool, dump all my resources into card advantage and try to not freaking die. You almost rarely go into him, but there will be times where he's relevant to go into. Obviously, because we don't run any Revelation units, his GB2 skill is a moot point. But being able to have that immediate, like, go-to card advantage option is really useful. Plus, with the witches and stuff like that, he can actually, help you build up soul more than you can spend it. So next up, I have 1 Ultimate Regalia of Crimson Muspel. So Muspel, she had Muspel is weird. I'm actually planning on cutting her for the second tier in this build. She's kind of a byproduct of when this deck was just a regular Fenrir deck. But for those of you who don't know what she does, she has an axe skill. Choose a face-down card from your G zone and turn it face up. Then you Soul Blast any number of cards, and then you choose one of your rear guards for each card you Soul Blasted, and they get 4,000 power until end of turn. Then if the number of cards you Soul Blasted was 3 or more, you can either draw a card or countercharge one. So she is a card. She's a type of card advantage. She helps you hit numbers, which is nice. Being able to give like 8k to a column or something is good. She does help you accelerate Generation Break a little bit, but she's really just in there because she was a byproduct of the original Fenrir list, which I will have a link to in the description down below. Next up, another byproduct of the Fenrir list is 4 copies of Goddess of Investigation Ishtar. So, obviously, like I said, we run basically no Revelation units, so all she's in here for is to accelerate Generation Break, which actually doesn't really do much for the deck. And on top of that, she's there to give, like, minor power buffs, but other than that, like, there's really not much she's there for. Like, yeah, if you can't find your Wisemans, she's nice if you have Taros and Soul to go aggressive, but outside of that, like, you basically almost never go into her. You almost only ever stride with this deck once, and that's into tier to set up, and then your following turn is you generally kill with Wiseman. Alright. So the next, we have, this guy is actually important. 4 Mythical Destroyer Beast Vanguard. This guy is super useful because he is your dig for cards / dig for triggers and, or specifically dig for heals, guy. So for those of you who don't know, Generation Break 2, when he attacks, Soul Blast 6, choose face down card, with the same name, turn it face up. If you do, he gets Vanguard Circle at the beginning of your drive step. Check top 4 cards of your deck, and then you may put them back on top or bottom, any number back on top or bottom in any order. So for those of you who play Magic, scry 4, essentially. So that's what he's here for. He's there for those games where, like, oh, things are not looking great, so I need to dig for a heal so I don't die, or I need to dig for a heal so I can get my pieces out of my damage zone and into my drop zone, and then I can use G-Guards to get them back in. So that's what he's there for. So generally, if you don't go off the turn after your first stride, you're going into him to try to either not die or just get there. 1 Ultima, because Ultima is your alternate win con. If you can't set up the Wiseman, if you can't set up Himiko, but you can set up Ultima, you're golden. So that's one of the reasons why, like, Ishtar is still good and Muspel is still good, so you can get to that GB3. So you can stack your Taro, stack your crit. That's another reason why I run 4 crit instead of where I was originally running 2, because that guarantees you that almost guarantees you that you're still going to have crits left in deck to stack with Ultima. And plus he can call out stuff, like he can call out the Wisemans and stuff like that, and you can just set it up so you have a full restanding field that's going to have power and crit, and then you just have a Wiseman that you're going to keep swinging with. And now, onto the G Guardians, we have 2 copies of Goddess of the 7 Colors Iris. She's just there to help you get your combo pieces from your drop zone into your soul, so it's super important. And then that's basically all she's there for. You know, and just also building up soul in general. It's nice being able to soul blast the witches and then put them back in with Iris and recycle them. And then the last 2 is Ultimate Regalia of Affection Ire. She's basically Iris, but she can get more shield value, and she puts technically 1 more card in, whereas Iris, you need to put 3 cards in order for her to gain shield value. Ire, you choose up to 4 cards with differing grades, and then you put them into your soul, and then if you put 2, she gets 5k shield, and then if you put 4, she gets another 10k, so she's 30k shield on top of it. So that's a net 10k shield off of the 20k shield heal triggers. And this deck does actually tend to get the requirements for Ire very easily. Like, you know, you're thinking your main targets, like your 0 is Taro, grade 1 is the grade 1 witch, grade 2 is grade 2 witch, and then the grade 3 is just whatever. Like if you have a Himiko that you pitch to Stride or a Wiseman or something like that, then there you go. All in all, I've actually found the deck is fairly consistent in killing after your first Stride. Just being able to have a 54k Wiseman that's swinging anywhere from like 4 to like 8 times, depending on how your soul is set up, is ridiculous. So for those of you who don't know how the loop necessarily works, or quote unquote loop, because it is finite, you will eventually run out of soul. So the idea of this build specifically is you soul blast your Taro when you attack with Wiseman. You try to get your deck down to as thin as humanly possible. You soul blast the Taro, tuck it back onto the bottom of the deck. You do that enough to where you have like 3 cards left in deck. Like say you soul blast 3 Taros. Then if you have any of the witches in soul, you soul blast one of them, and then use their effect to soul charge the 2 Taros, and then you just continue until you run out of resources. Accidentally knocked over the tripod. So that is my Himiko Wiseman deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what you think down in the comments down below. I will be attempting to stop being less lazy and getting content out in a somewhat timely fashion. So please look forward to that. I do have another deck profile in the works. It's actually, I have 2 updates that are coming in. I have an updated build to my D-Police premium deck profile, and I have Shirayuki Murakumo coming out as well. So look forward to that once my lazy ass finally gets around to doing it. And until then, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya.